How's it going, y'all? Welcome to the video. Today we're going to be doing some things to old root beer here. We're going to be getting it cleaned up a little bit around the outside. In the last video we tackled all the maintenance stuff, so now we get to start making it look pretty. So we're going to be getting a grill installed, and we're going to be swapping out this front bumper and a few other things on the outside. And then in the next video or so, we're probably going to start cleaning up on the interior. It's going to take a lot of work, but it should be a lot of fun. Let's get after this outside and see how it turns out. Alright, so one of the first things we need to do is get a grill on this thing. As you can see, it doesn't have one. So I went ahead and went on to the Evil Bay, and we picked up a grill. So we're going to see how well it fits and see if it's worth any money. Now, I picked this one up because it was pretty much the cheapest one I could find. And a few things that you get with the cheaper model: you don't get an emblem on the front, and you don't get a spot for an emblem on the front. So pretty much you got to run it without an emblem, which is fine if you're on a budget. This was $45 shipped, and to get one of those with the emblems, it was like 180 plus. So this is a little bit more budget friendly route, which is perfect for this old rig. So I'm gonna get this torn open here and take a look at it. Well, y'all, this broke. So we're gonna have to wait, but I do want to at least open it up and see what I ordered. It's broke, and it was already broke. It had to have been broken during shipping, so got to send this back and deal with that now. So that'll be fun. But while I got this open, I'm going to go ahead and tape off the chrome here and shoot some black paint up in here and get this backdrop cleaned up a little bit. Alright, y'all, so like I said earlier, the grill came in broken. But one thing I want to do is we're going to go ahead and paint this background black. That way when I get the new grill, it'll look new behind there, and hopefully it'll set off this front end, let the grill pop a little bit better. So we're going to paint all this black. We're going to do a light misting over this radiator or the air conditioning thing, but we're going to go ahead and tape this off because I'm not very good at spray paint, and I don't want to ruin the chrome. Alright, y'all, this is Rust-Oleum semi-gloss, so hopefully it's not super shiny back there, which is what we want. Pull the tape here. See how we did. Oh yeah. Once we get that grill on there, it'll look much better. One thing we need to do is we need some new battery terminals. So that's what we're going to be doing today. And I'm going to be ordering a battery tray soon. That's why it looks like this. It's not supposed to. But we're going to go ahead and swap these out since it's having some trouble starting because it's these terminals are so bad. So we're going to go ahead and swap those out real quick. Alright, y'all, so this is an 80s model tailgate that came on it, but I found some brown paint and we're going to go ahead and paint it. I've been looking for a 70s model in that brown for a tailgate, and I haven't been able to find one, so we're going to use this for now, and it should look better than no tailgate and better than a white tailgate. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to pressure wash it, and then I'm going to do a light sand on it, you know, just to kind of knock some of the tall stuff off, see if I can get a little bit more of that off, and then we're going to shoot a coat of paint on this thing. So we're just going to use this heavy duty stripping pad here, trying to get it kind of cleaned up here, and then we may go to a little bit lighter just for fun, but I'm not trying to get this perfect. As y'all can tell, tailgate's already not perfect, so this is really just to kind of knock some of the really bad stuff off of it, but we kind of still want it to look old, so here's the paint we're going with. This is Krylon Fusion all-in-one paint plus primer, 5 times stronger adhesion, satin espresso color. We're gonna give these a shot. If it doesn't last, it doesn't last. But good news is, It's not that big of a deal. So we're gonna shake on this thing, and we're just gonna shoot it. Probably just one decent coat. Maybe we might go to two. But I just got it sanded down to where it's a little bit smoother, so hopefully the paint will stick. I didn't go down to metal or anything. That's kind of necessary for this job. But we're gonna see what happens. Hopefully we don't have a bunch of runs in it, which is probably likely. Let's give it a shot. Oh yeah. Alright y'all, so as you can see, this front bumper is absolutely trashed. So I picked up another one that I found used, and it's in a little bit better shape. So we're gonna get this one cleaned up and use an SOS pad, and hopefully we can get the shine back. Alright y'all, you don't always have to get a new bumper to get good results. I mean, let it dry for a second. I don't know if y'all can tell the difference, but I can see it here. That you can actually see yourself in it now. So we're gonna knock this whole thing out and see how it looks after that. Alright y'all, so we got the new bumper, and right here, cleaned up. It looks much better. So we're gonna go ahead and pull this old one off, and then we'll put this new one on there and see how it looks. Alright y'all, there we go. I don't care who you are, that is way better than the one that was on there. We got it looking straight, and once we get that new grill put on, shoot, it's gonna look real nice. So the other bumper was actually like mangled, which is crazy. They had hit a few things with it, but this one's set straight, so we're good to go. I'm probably gonna go ahead while I'm, piddling. I got the bumper over there drying, or the tailgate drying over there. We may go ahead and, do this bumper, shine it up a little bit. So let's do that real quick. All right, let's go ahead and put this tailgate on. See how it looks. Alright y'all, as you can see, the inside is absolutely filthy. So we're going to start by getting this thing cleaned out, and then we'll be ready to start putting the interior back together once I get the rest of the parts in. We're going to start off by just getting rid of all the trash, because we don't need any of that. Alright, we got the glove box put back in. We're going to be removing those gauges and this bracket, since neither one of them works. So I don't know if that bracket was for a CB or something. Alright, so I wanted to go over something real quick, something that I just learned how to do. If you got one of these, this green wire number 9 was cut too short by the person who was trying to install this gauge cluster. So it's super easy to depin them. I just got this little tiny flathead screwdriver, and all you're gonna do, see if I can bring you in a little closer. So all you got to do is go right here, stick it in there, kind of just work it up and down, and it'll pull right out. And then you just put it back in. You can hear a little click. It's back in there. So that's super easy. We're gonna go ahead and hook all these back up, and then we'll see if everything looks good there. Then we'll start putting the gauge cluster in. Alright y'all, so we got the gauge cluster kind of mocked up in here, and we got the speedometer hooked up, we've got the volts hooked up, we've got the temperature hooked up. This is gonna need a new oil pressure sensor, I think. So I did plug in the wire, but it's not working. And the fuel gauge is hooked up, but it's not working either. So we're gonna go ahead and not worry about that for now. And we're just gonna go ahead and put this gauge cluster in here, and then whenever it's time to put our dash and bezel on, then we'll do that. but I want to go ahead and get this thing installed and mount it down. Alright y'all, there it is. Gauge cluster is in there, and everything looks okay. Alright y'all, so I kind of got it set in place. I got the gauge cluster itself mounted up, and I just set this in place, and it's gonna look pretty good. So I'm excited to see, once we get the dash on, how it all turns out. We were missing the sill plates on this side, and I had these plastic ones laying around, and these are not exactly what it would have been. It would have been those chrome ones, and I had 3 out of the 4, but I decided just to go ahead, put these black ones on there. They'll look good. I'm gonna clean them up and stick them in here. Alright y'all, so here's one of the dashes that came with it. This is like almost brand new. There's a few little cracks here and there. The one that actually I think came off this truck was pretty destroyed. So I'm hoping we can clean this up really good. As you can see, it's missing the vent part here. So we're going to go ahead and replace this, and this came with the truck. So it's missing a tab, but it shouldn't be that big of a deal. So we'll give it a shot and see if we can put this thing on there. So I went ahead and set the dash in here. Looks pretty cool. It's not mounted yet. It's just set in there for temporary. It's not going to go anywhere for now, but I got the install kit on the way. We're going to go ahead and pull the door panels because I've got a new set, and well, not a new set, but a new to me set that's in better shape than this. They're not perfect, but they're in better shape than this. I'm going to throw a coat of paint on them, put them back on. So what we're going to do is pull this door panel. So one thing we need to do, this mirror is white, that mirror is not. So I tried 2 different colors and looked, and this is definitely a closer match, this Rust-Oleum. So we're gonna go ahead, shoot a little paint on this one. We're gonna run a little sandpaper over it and give it a good wipe down, and then just go ahead and shoot it. Alright y'all, so this series is cut a little short because I found a guy who wanted to buy the 78. So we're saying bye to the 78.